Dissolved your dry yeast and a little sugar with some warm milk to stir that up until it makes a nice paste. You're then going to add that to your bowl of flour, and we're adding some turmeric here just for colour really. Stir that up and make a well in the flour, in the middle of the flour. Add the dissolved yeast, and you're going to add a bit more of your warm milk as well, just into the middle, into that dip, and stir it gently so you're drawing in the flour gradually into the liquid and starting to form your ball of dough, a bit like making pancake batter, so you don't get lumps. So you keep adding the milk into that well, keep stirring. It'll get thicker and harder. Some people use a knife. I've used a wooden spoon here. And we're gradually mixing in, and your hand, it gets easier to do with your hand. And now just knead this dough for about 10 minutes to really activate the gluten and the stretchiness of the dough. When you feel it's ready, you can form it into a nice round shape. Doesn't matter too much. And then you're going to place it back in the bowl. I've just put some oil in that bowl to cover the dough with so it doesn't form a crust when it's rising. Because you're going to leave it in a warm place now for an hour to rise. Look at that, beautifully risen, and you can punch it back down a bit, knead it a little bit more. And I've cut it roughly into 3 sections because we're going to have 3 layers to our star. So you're now going to roll out your first section. Start off by stretching it by hand, then get a rolling pin. You want it pretty thin, get it nice and even. And then find a bowl. This is a 22 centimetre diameter bowl to use as your template to cut around. You can flour the surface before you roll it out, which might make life a bit easier for this stage where you have to carefully lift off your circle, place it on your baking paper, and retain that circle shape is really important. So that's your first layer. You're now going to spread your paste over it. I've made paste from sun-dried tomatoes, black olives, chutney, barbecue sauce, sunflower seeds, miso, whatever you've got in the cupboard. You then roll out your second layer, place that carefully on the top and adjust all the edges so that they line up really neatly. And then you're going to roll out your third layer, but before you put it on, you're going to put the paste on the second layer. And don't put the paste right up to the edge. Leave a little bit of bare dough. That's your last layer going on. And now you're going to mark a centre circle with a glass and use that as your template to start your cutting. So you're going to mark out a quarter first of all, if you want an 8-pointed star, and then cut that quarter in half. Now you want to go all the way through all 3 layers. Make sure you get right to the bottom without cutting the paper. So you do need a sharp knife. So in that quarter, you've now got 4 strips, and you're going to turn the dough and repeat until you've cut the whole circle. So get the point of the knife right down through, because if the bottom layer isn't cut through, it doesn't work. So now you carefully pick up 2 strips, pull them apart, and then twist them away from each other twice, and then gently place them back down again. And if you've got a bit of oozing out filling, just remove that. So you gently draw them up, twist away from each other twice, and place back down again. And you go round, do the whole circle in that way. Then when you've gone round, I've now slid the star into my round baking tray. I chose a round baking tray to help kind of keep the points equal as you go around. And what I'm doing now is just getting the inside corner of the ends of the 2 strips and pulling them out to a point so they kind of pretty much touch the edge of the pan. If you've got a square pan, that's absolutely fine as well. It will work. You just have to use your eye to judge. Just trimming off the edge of the paper before popping it into the oven for 15 to 20 minutes, and ta-da! There it is cooked. So it's lovely in resin, and if you pull it apart you can see the stripes going right through, and it's absolutely delicious.